Hey guys, welcome back, and today I've been doing the part 2.5, or the journey of the earthlings, for what if Raditz came for Goku early. Now I'm going to try and keep this part as short as possible, so let's get going. We see two figures in the distance, from over the shoulders of Tien, and the fighter continues to slowly walk closer. The fighter getting close enough just to hear a few things that are said. Something about Saiyans, something about being taken to space, something about the pair out there being related. With this done, the fighter sees the bigger alien grab Goku's tail, making the young Saiyan weak. After all, his battle with the Demon King was intense, and from what Tien can tell, this monster in front of him is hundreds of times stronger than that of the Demon King. With Tien just watching on in horror, the lights of Goku and the stranger fly away. For a moment, Tien thinks about shooting at the warrior, but stops himself in fear and in a decision that he might come to regret. With this done, Tien stands there thinking about it, and he finally lets out a breath once the fighter is far enough away. With him realizing that he was actually holding his breath this whole time, he's completely shocked at how nervous he just got. With him realizing that he needs to try and save Goku, but they've already flown so far away. Tien tries to come up with a plan, and eventually he runs off in the direction of, the way Raditz went, but he never catches up, only seeing a ship leave orbit. With this done, Tien has to come up with something new. He was too late, and now he has to think of a way to try and save Goku. With him remembering that there is one remaining turtle student, he heads that way. He eventually finds Yamcha with Bulma, and some of the others are with the pair. With the likes of Yamcha and Tien not being on the best of terms after everything that happened in the 22nd Tenkaichi, at the sight of Tien, Yamcha's a bit on guard. But once Tien shouts out, huffing and puffing, and explains the situation, everyone is shocked to hear what had happened to Goku, and they have no idea what to do. You see, they're down a few members here, with the likes of Roshi, Chaozu, and Krillin all gone. They are working on very few fighters, and the Dragon Balls were also destroyed, so they have to come up with something smart. With the likes of Kami interfering here, he explains to the remaining members of the Dragon team, "You can bring back your friends with the Dragon Balls. I'm repairing them as we speak. As for Goku, he had already been taken into the depths of space. For now, we must trust that he will survive. If you want to save your friend, I will train you on my lookout, above that of Master Korin's." With this said, the old god disappears, with Tien and Yamcha knowing that they need to head there and they need to start training. With Bulma saying how she will collect the Dragon Balls when possible to bring back everyone who died. With the group splitting up, Yamcha and Tien start heading towards the land of Korin. With Tien being quiet during the entire trip, this bums out Yamcha a bit, however he's also not in too much of a mood to talk. He does try to lighten the mood a bit, but it's also a very bad time to be doing this. Tien is clearly inside his own head right now, and Yamcha doesn't know how to get him out of it. With the pair not taking too long to get to the sacred land of Korin, they eventually get to the base of Korin's tower. With the pair looking up, they realise that it's going to take them a while to climb it. However, just before they begin their climb, the likes of Upa, who asks what they are doing here and who they are, recognises Yamcha all of a sudden, and Yamcha recognises Upa. The pair had only met briefly, but they definitely know of one another. Yamcha, knowing Upa is one of Goku's friends, explains the whole situation, and after hearing everything that happened, Upa wants to try and help Goku himself. After all, Goku saved his father. It's only fair he returns the favour. With Tien saying how he doesn't want to bring Upa along, he's weak and won't be able to keep up while climbing the tower, Yamcha disagrees, saying that they need all the help they can get currently, and Upa will do fine. He's got definitely a lot of potential. We'll just see what he can do. With the three starting to climb the tower, with the likes of Tien climbing it much faster than the other two, Yamcha could possibly keep up with Tien, However, he's making sure that Upa is alright during the climb. It takes Tien only a few hours, and it takes Upa and Yamcha a day to climb the tower. And during this time, the sky turns black. Yamcha knows this means that the Dragon Balls have been used, and he tells Tien this once they both arrive up to the top of the tower. With everyone up there, they meet the old cat, who has some bad news for them. He quickly says how, "Unlucky for you, bub. I need to train you up a bit. For what I can tell, you're all on different levels of power. And if you want to help your friend Goku and train with the big man, you're gonna have to pass my test, unfortunately." With this said, Yamcha shouts out saying how they need to train with Kami to save Goku. But Korin can see there is something happening in the likes of Tien's head. He knows the warrior needs to clear his mind before beginning his training with Kami, and also he needs to catch the other two up in power as fast as possible. It's killing two birds with one stone here, and this leads to the three beginning to train with the cat. Eventually, the likes of Krillin and Chaozu, who were revived by Bulma and filled in on the whole situation, arrive at the top of the tower. With Tien happy to see Chaozu again, it doesn't do much to get him out of his own head. However, Krillin is here and he's got a fire under his belly. He's willing to train as hard as possible to get back Goku. After all, Goku not only basically made it so he could be revived, he also avenged him. And Goku has been his best friend for years, so it's time that, he shows him that he can save Goku. With the humans training for another few days, until the first person passes this test. The first person to pass Korin's test is Krillin. He's concentrated hard on passing this test, and the cat allows the bold fighter to move up, and following along behind Krillin is Yamcha, then Chaozu, with Tien and Upa being stuck with the cat. The likes of Tien still being his own barrier, his annoyance and fear for what had happened is blocking him from growing, and the fear has sprouted from the fact that even Goku, someone he saw as equal, or as someone who was stronger than him, lost to someone so easily. Yes, Goku was injured, but he even believes that the fact that Goku could defeat the Demon King and he couldn't is something that is a terrifying thought. And with this done, he just keeps stopping himself from being able to complete Korin's test. And it's not until the likes of Upa points out that this is what's stopping him from getting up to grow stronger. Upa, even though isn't very strong, he just sees what's happening in Tien's head and points it out to the fighter. He explains how he's blocking himself from seeing how to pass this test. It's not difficult, just learn his movements. It's nothing hard. It's why the others have passed it already and are already training with the god. It makes sense that I'm still here. I'm weak compared to you guys. And if you aren't serious about trying to save Goku, then you should leave. With Tien made at this moment to realise that right now he is holding on to feelings that are stopping him from passing a very basic test, and he needs to concentrate on growing stronger to save Goku. Tien thanks the young man and begins to give Upa some pointers before Korin eventually tells Tien that he can go up, but he explains how if he keeps blaming himself for what happened, he won't be able to grow as a fighter or as a person anymore. So let go of that feeling of guilt and fear and use it to fuel your fire to continue to grow stronger. He points upwards and tells Tien to go and train with Kami. Tien nods and heads up, where he is welcomed by the other fighters who are already a few days into training with Kami. And a month later, the group is joined by the likes of Upa. With the five training for the next 3 years, Kami is getting ready for one of them to take down Piccolo Jr. And not only that, but he wants to find a successor. He already has an idea of who he wants, but he needs to make sure. With the tournament like normal rolling around, Kami tells his students to head out to the tournament to defeat Piccolo. And this not only gives them a break from their training and have some fun, but also lets them know how much stronger they've gotten. With there being some changes here, the first big thing would be that Goku is swapping out for Upa here. And before I get into this tournament too much, I do just want to say I'm not covering all of these fights. I'm just giving an idea of how things would go down. But let's continue. With the likes of Bulma meeting up with her boyfriend and the others for the first time in years, and the likes of Tien getting to see Roshi again, it's a nice bit of time for celebration. And with everyone re-meeting before the reality of why they are training re-kicks in, Bulma asks how strong they have gotten and if they think they're strong enough to fight off the person who stole Goku away. Tien says how he didn't really know, and he came to Earth years ago, so he technically could have gotten stronger. So they are strong, but he could also be a lot stronger, so we need to keep training for a while longer. Now, with this done, Tien is pretty confident that this tournament will be easy, and everyone there views the battle against Piccolo Jr. should be a good test of their power. With Roshi and Bulma confused, the group filled them in on why there is a Piccolo Jr. With Roshi telling everyone to be careful of the upcoming matches, everyone gets ready to begin the fight. And as everyone heads in to start the battle, Roshi says to himself if there was only some way we could get some knowledge from what's out there in space, like an inside man, before chuckling to himself, trying to make light of a dark situation. But this sets off an idea in Bulma's brain, and she quickly runs away, shouting out to the old man that she just thought of something. Tell the others where I've gone, and tell them I'll be back before the end of the tournament. With Bulma soon throwing out a capsule and flying back off to her place, Roshi, just confused, agrees that he would just do what she said, and Roshi gets ready to watch the tournament. The tournament things change a bit. You see, the likes of Chaozu would probably beat Mercenary Tao here, Yajirobe would make it into the quarterfinals, and to not spend a lot of time covering everything, stuff like Upa versus Chi-Chi isn't too interesting. Upa defeats Chi-Chi. Upa isn't as strong as Goku from canon, but he's definitely stronger than this version of Chi-Chi, so... And because Chi-Chi hasn't seen Goku, she is almost ready to leave the tournament. However, she catches Roshi in the corner of her eyes, and knowing that Goku trained under Roshi, or at least knew him, is enough for her to head over and start demanding answers. She wants to know where Goku is, who he's been with, what he's doing, is he still single? With Roshi shocked, he asks why does she want to know all of this. With her explaining who she is and the promise Goku made to her, Roshi is surprised and he feels it's the right thing to do to tell the girl about what happened. And once she hears all of this, she is shocked and terrified, but soon is enraged, telling the old turtle that if the group out there fighting on the tournament stage are trying to save Goku, then she is joining them, and you are introducing me. With Roshi unsure of what to do, he just says he will, not clearly wanting to get on her bad side, and even avoids his perverted normalness, knowing that Goku made a promise to marry this woman. Feels like it's wrong to do to his currently missing, possibly dead student, so he decides for the best right now. He won't do that. Now, the only real important fight in this whole tournament is the likes of Krillin versus Piccolo Jr. Krillin would win this time, thanks to the fact that I would believe he's a lot stronger. He's arguably probably the strongest human right now. He's determined to grow stronger, probably the most. He probably wants revenge on Piccolo, and he's determined to save Goku. So he's grown a lot stronger here, and I would argue maybe he's as strong as Canon Goku. And after the fight gets drawn out for a while, Krillin being heavily injured in the end, he does manage to win. However, he is no longer able to continue in the tournament, so he has to pull out. And with Piccolo defeated, Kami quickly jumps in, Mafubas him away, and this is done. Kami tells Krillin well done before heading back to the lookout. With the tournament going on with Tien winning the entire thing, eventually Bulma rejoins the group. Before Bulma had rejoined, the likes of Roshi had introduced Chi-Chi and explained who she is and told the group that she's joining them. Please take her, she will hurt me. And with this done, the group are happy to take on another strong fighter, with Upa actually vouching for her a little bit. After all, they had a bit of a fight, and she's pretty strong to say she's never properly, had a master. And once Bulma does rejoin, right at the end of the tournament, the likes of Roshi asks where did she go, with Bulma explaining how she knows someone from space. She's so angry she forgot about this. He's sort of like the police force who's out in space. He's actually a pretty good officer and an old family friend. So I've just asked him to keep an eye out for anyone using the name Goku. I only could give him a vague answer as of I didn't really have a photo or anything, but he knows what he's looking out for now, I suppose. And with this done, the fighters are happy to hear that they might hear some news on Goku. And with this done, the group head back to Kami's lookout, with Chi-Chi not taking too long to pass Korin's test, and eventually joins the group. With them training for 6 months, the group grow a lot stronger, all feeling like the power they currently have could defeat the person who took Goku. With the current power rankings being Tien with a power level of 850, Krillin with a power level of 840, Yamcha 800, Upa 750, Chaozu 700, Chi-Chi 400. Chi-Chi's so low as she hadn't been training as long, and I believe this is a good place to place her. And the group are about to start making their plans, to bring Goku to Earth and, get ready to defeat any aliens who show up to fight them. But they are soon stopped by Kami, who has a worried look on his face. He explains to his students that he had been contacted by one of the higher up gods. Apparently, the Saiyan who took Goku is a lot stronger, and there's also two other Saiyans who are terribly evil. Alongside this, Goku is a lot stronger. You guys aren't ready to fight them. With eventually the likes of King Kai contacting the group, saying how if you want to attempt to save your friend, I want to train two of you and make you stand a chance against those Saiyans. And hopefully, once you two have trained, you should be able to defeat most things in your way. And after hearing this and a bit of discussion, both Tien and Krillin are the ones chosen. There was a bit of an argument between Chi-Chi and Krillin. After all, Chi-Chi believed that she should go and she should be the one to bring back her future husband. But because of her power, she is the one who's left behind. With Tien and Krillin getting taken to Otherworld, and eventually they start the run of Snake Way. It doesn't take them long, with the pair not having to make any stops. It probably takes them pretty much half the time it took Goku in canon. They make it to King Kai's place and pass all the tests and begin their training. They train for about a year and 6 months. With them doing this so they grow a lot stronger and also so King Kai feels comfortable sending them out to fight Saiyans. During this time, they learn what Saiyans are, they've learned a little bit more about space, and they're a bit more well equipped for whatever's coming their way. With the two heading back a lot stronger, they eventually make it back to, you know, Earth, with them catching up with the group, and they can feel that everyone is actually a lot stronger. And once this is all done, they gather the Dragon Balls and they make the wish on the tower. Everyone looks forward to seeing Goku once again. With them wishing to bring the Saiyan back to Earth, Shenron explains how that cannot be done. Everyone's confused and angry, and they ask why Shenron can't do this. With Shenron explaining how Goku is in a dimension that he does not have the power to pull him out of, and to pull Goku out of this dimension would require a lot more power. With everyone confused and actually quite annoyed, they have no idea why Goku is in another dimension. They have to try and figure out another way. And right before the group can, tell Shenron to leave, get rid of him, and save the wish for another day, King Kai contacts the group, explaining how this dragon is much weaker than the one on Namek. Maybe that one could bring back Goku. Everyone's confused, but Tien and Krillin, who know a little bit more about space, with them filling the group in, they understand that Army is a Namekian. Namekians make Dragon Balls, so if there's a planet of Namekians, there's probably Dragon Balls. With them hearing this, they ask Shenron to teleport them all to Namek, and are soon annoyed to hear that the dragon could only send one of them. And if the planet is dangerous, that's a very big risk. So they decide that they can come up with the next best thing. Bomber explains how she could build a ship that could take them there, and then they could just use it to get back. All she would need is the location of Namek, and they decide to make this their wish. With the group starting to train while Bulma repairs the Namekian ship that Kami came to Earth on, eventually her and her father take a bit more time to make it a lot more comfortable. After all, unlike in canon, this has to carry 7 people here, and it takes just over 2 months for it to be fully ready, and once this is done, the group heads off into space. With it being a bit of a squeeze, after all, it's all of Kami's students and also Bulma, it leads to the group having to be pretty cozy with one another, However, during this time, all the fighters do some MS training to make sure that they're always ready for combat. Now, near the end of the trip, the group fly past another ship. For a moment, Bulma almost doesn't notice it. However, once she has a second look, she sees that that's her friend Jacko's ship, the person she has to keep an eye out for Goku. With the likes of Tien seeing another two people in it, and all the fighters sensing two other powers in it, with the powers being very familiar, they can only really put their finger on one of them. But thanks to the fact that they're all sort of in the middle of MS training, they aren't really picking it up too much. With Bulma saying how she'll make a call to Jacko in the next few days about, you know, if he's heard anything from Goku once they arrive on Namek. With the group making it to Namek after a day of travel from seeing that ship, and they explain their situation to the Namekians, who are more willing to help the group than ever. After all, they sense their good intentions, and they can see that they have good reasons for it. Everyone starts collecting the balls, and suddenly, some of the fighters stop moving, just completely in their tracks. Bulma, who is currently with Yamcha, asks what's happened, with Yamcha saying how that much power, that's so evil. How does something like this exist? With Tien even looking shocked, or on the other side of the planet, when out of nowhere, the likes of Krillin, who is near Tien, says something which shocks him. He murmurs just a few words, Goku. With Tien confused, he spends a moment trying to concentrate, trying to really dig deep to see what Krillin's talking about, but he senses it as well. That power there, that's so similar to Goku's, but it's off the charts to what it could have ever been. There is a battle happening on a planet miles and miles away, but the likes of the Z fighters can sense it, and they can feel that Goku is currently in a fight with whatever that monster giving off that much energy is. Everyone begins to panic, and they start collecting the balls at a breakneck speed. And while this is all happening, the group is following the fight, with the group eventually collecting all the Dragon Balls. They get one of the Namekians to summon the dragon, and they start trying to figure out how to make this wish. With the Namekians explaining how it has to be in the Namekian language, one of the Namekians start to translate for them. With the likes of Chi-Chi shouting out how bring the one known as Son Goku to this planet quick, with the Namekian speaking it just as fast as he can, suddenly Goku appears, his body completely damaged, clearly having been through a long battle. The Saiyan grabs his arm, stares around the area, before letting out a scream of Raditz, before passing out. But this is where I'm leaving this part. I know this probably wasn't as in detail as some people would have wanted, but I never had any intention to make it very detailed, and I hope people don't mind that. This is just a quick idea of what the Earthlings have been through. I never wanted to give it loads of detail, and I want it to be a shorter part than I would normally do, so I hope people liked it. I quite enjoyed this part. It was hard to write because I had to try and remember the timeline pretty well, and it's made me realise that I should probably keep better track of it, but everything there was pretty spot on, and I hope people enjoyed it. Yeah, I wasn't ever really expecting Upa to be part of any of my what ifs, but as I remembered, he would probably want to help out Goku, so he's a fighter here, which is pretty cool, I suppose. And yeah, with all of this said, I hope people enjoyed. I hope people are looking forward to the next part, and I hope everyone has a great day. See you next time.